Hi, this is Larry Zorro. You know, we live in uncertain times. We just don't know what tomorrow might bring. It might be sunny or it might be gloomy. I never thought I'd see the day where you can buy a roll of toilet paper in the store. And just think the inflation of prices that could happen and has happened with garden produce. You know, the land is being bought up by a man called Bill Gates. He's buying up the land, buying up these farms. And you know, what if he decides he's not going to grow anymore? He's not going to grow on them. He's not going to make money from using it for growing vegetables and selling it to the people. What if there is no way on earth that you can find produce in the store? It just stops. What would you do? Now, I believe that God has raised me up for a moment like this to make gardening fun, to make it easy. I started out with hay bale gardening, but you know, making bales was not that easy. You had to have a baler. And I showed a system. If you had all the equipment, it would be easy, but if you don't, it'd be hard because you had to build something, and that was basically a baler. And I did books on hay bales, hay bale gardening, how you could just make a container out of a hay bale and grow your plants. But you know, God has showed me a better way, an easier way in these uncertain times for everyone to have the best garden possible. Now some of you who live in California, you got good, rich, deep soil, and you can grow about anything. You just throw a seed on the ground, it'll grow into luscious vegetable and produce. But a lot of us, not able to live in part of the country where you can grow, we may only have a foot of good soil or workable soil. We still have to sift it for the rocks and sift it and put our additives in the soil. But for the most part, we live in harsh environments. So harsh that you might have a torrential rain that comes along and cause great erosion, and most of your crops have fell over, toppled over, just because of a torrential rain. Well, all this stuff you must look at. And I've looked at it. I live in a place in Missouri that's not known for great gardening. You can just look at the gardens around. You'll know what I mean. Well, let's get right to it. The book. It's the only book you'll need, the only way, and it's the right way. Now, many people sell books. You can find books on secondhand stores. You can buy them at thrift stores. You can buy them everywhere where the book has just been discarded. But this book, this Kindle book, and soon to be a published book, it's something that you'll treasure. It's easy to read. It gives you pictures, over 70 pictures, and it tells you step by step what to do to have the most futuristic, the best garden you ever thought possible. And it could happen this season when you buy the book. Now, in the past, every time I use hay, somebody says, you know, hay is weedy, Larry. It's just not used. It's so weedy, it's filled with a lot of seeds, and you'll just be growing weed. Well, I covered that in a chapter. It's called Hay Prep. And, you know, I show you the most easiest way to make spoiled hay out of your cut weeds. That's right. You can use your lawnmower. You can use a scythe. You can use whatever equipment to cut your weeds, to manage your weeds, and then use that and turn it into beautiful mulch, beautiful hay that you can use for gardening with no viable seeds. It's just a perfect way. And that's in the first chapter. I get right to it, and it's called Hay Prep. Now, in this book, I start you out with the basics of making a hay pot and then a wick pot. You know, a wick pot? It actually, you don't even have to hardly water them. Just the rain itself and it'll just wick up the water. It sets in this oil pan and it just wicks up the water and you can have flowers in it. It's just And you can make it any size you want. You can put it on your entranceway to make people gasp. Gasp and wonder, what is this? What is this thing growing? Great flowers or marigolds. And you know what? It's your wick pot. And then I get into a chapter called Hay Pillars. That's right, hay pillars. That is the backbone of my system that I use today is I make pillars out of wire, just circular wire. And I make a pillar out of it, a grow pillar in which I grow all my vegetables. And it's not the way, you just don't grow in the hay. There's got to be soil in it. There's got to be a way that some soil is in these hay pillars. And I go through that chapter. And I go through a chapter on tomatoes and herbs and other vegetables and how they just flourish, how they grow, and it's green. You know, I'll tell you one thing about these tomato plants I grew. The tomatoes just kept on coming. You know, usually when I grow a tomato plant in the ground, the heat will come and then it'll stop producing. It doesn't like temperatures of 90 degrees. But with this deeper root system that you get from pillar gardening, these tomato plants just flourished. It just kept on, one after another. Just kept on. Didn't matter what kind of heat I had, 100-degree heat. And they kept producing. And I had tomatoes just from a few plants, and I had it all season long. Well, this is a futuristic gardening book. It's not something that I need to make another edition, another edition, another edition of the book to correct the mistakes. No, I've been tried. It's been 2 years in the making. I've tried it. I've taken over 70 pictures, perfect pictures, to place in the book to show you the results. It's not hand drawings like, this is what it looked like. Yeah, sure. No, these are actual pictures of my hay pillar garden. And I go into a chapter on rejuvenating these pillars. Every year you can rejuvenate them. You don't have to keep making the circular cage over and over again. No, you can rejuvenate them. They'll be half shrunken down through the winter and the hay will be lower, but you can easily rejuvenate them and start faster than ever. Start faster than digging out a plot or digging up the old bed. This is simple. This is the best way. It's the only way. Well, take a look at the gardening book contents. Go to Larry Zorro. When you do a search, you better put in Larry Zorro gardening books. I think when you put Larry Zorro in, it comes up with Larry Zero. I don't know why. But anyway, it's Larry Zorro, 1R, Z-O-R-O. And just do it in the search engine. It'll come to my books and then go to that newest book. What's it called again? It's called Hay Gardens Without Bales, the breakthrough method of hay pillar gardening. It's a 2021 book production, and you can get it for a low price of only $4.99. Well, this is Larry Zorro. You take care. God bless. Bless you in your gardening endeavors, and see you later. Bye now.